Casual dining was a staple of our childhood. Meals with family and friends at affordable and fair prices. But what happened?
Fancy like Applebee's.
Have these iconic restaurants really gone downhill? I'm going to find out by actually eating there, as a choice, and not when it's the only option at an airport. But how did we get here? How did these chains even start?
Applebee's.
These global chains all started with a singular vision by an entrepreneur. This is some real American dream stuff right here. For example, TGI Fridays was founded in 1965 by this guy, Alan Stillman. He found the first location in Manhattan as a bar, as a way to pick up women. He put in $5K of his own money and then asked his mom for $5K as well. I'm sure that was a great conversation that went over really well. Everyone loves a wholesome success story, especially restaurant groups and big corporations that see the dollar signs and swoop in with one goal in mind, which is to make as much money as quickly as possible and to expand rapidly. Chili's was swooped up by a former Pillsbury restaurant exec, Norman Brinker. The Brinker Group now owns and operates all Chili's and Maggiano's Little Italy restaurants, which is about 1,600 locations worldwide.
Mr.
Red
Worldwide.
Lobster was acquired by General Mills, which is the maker of basically every processed food in the grocery store. But for the majority of my childhood, they were owned by Darden Restaurants Incorporated, along with Olive Garden. Applebee's had success with a franchise system under a long-term parent company until they were bought by IHOP in 2007 for $2.1 billion, making that collection of those two restaurants the largest full-service restaurant company in the world, with 3,250 locations worldwide, which is just insane. And then lastly, TGI Fridays had a similar path with a franchisee model, bouncing between some different restaurant groups, and they peaked at about 600 locations in 2008. But why does this background and history matter? Well, with the revolving doors of owners that many of these chains have had, things have gotten a little bit out of hand.
Oreo shake.
The exchange of owners in pursuit of profit has resulted in a departure from the restaurants that we know and love. Standards, unfortunately, began to fall to the wayside. I pulled some reviews from the 4 chains that we'll be reviewing later in the video, and the primary takeaway is that the quality of food just isn't there, even though their waitstaff is doing the best that they can. These chains, unfortunately, have kind of become known for treating their employees pretty poorly as well. In a viral moment in 2013, an Applebee's employee posted an image of the receipt that she received as a tip on Reddit. The tip said, "I give God 10%, why do you get 18?"
Huh?
She was then fired for that, which led to Applebee's getting absolutely attacked on social media. I have to read this one to be sure I get it right, because in 2017, TGI Fridays had to pay $19 million to 28,000 workers after facing a nationwide collective action wage theft lawsuit. So essentially they weren't paying their employees. And you think they would learn their lesson, but apparently not, because in 2018, they found to have failed to pay £59,000 to their UK employees as well, which is just terrible. I mean, what are we doing here if you can't properly pay your employees? Well, what about the customer experience? Unfortunately, that has gone downhill as well, kind of at the macro level. At Chili's in 2018, over the course of 3 months, malware was used to collect credit and debit card information, as well as customer names using the payment system at all Chili's locations. Those were probably some expensive baby back ribs. And I'm doubling down here by saying that these chains really only care about profit margins, because in 2013, 29 TGI Fridays chains were raided by law enforcement because they were serving cheap alcohol when customers were ordering and paying for high-end top-shelf liquor. At one location, a mixture was sold as scotch that was just rubbing alcohol and caramel food coloring.
What the hell are you talking about?
Everything listed above, COVID, and some really poor business moves has led these chains to do some really insane things the last few years. And let's start with current base menu prices. One of the items Chili's is known for is the fried mozzarella. Let's say we wanted to order a small, which comes with 3 pieces of mozzarella as an appetizer. Take a guess at roughly how much that would set you back. And the answer is unfortunately $20, which is a pretty insane point for that small of an appetizer. Imagine you're a family and you need 2 to 3 appetizers for the whole table. that can add up very, very quickly. Now let's check in with Applebee's and do the same thing. Let's say you want to order the classic bone-in wings. Looks like about 8 come in order, and unfortunately that will set you back about $16, which is $2 per wing. I've seen worse wing prices, especially at places like Buffalo Wild Wings, but this is still pretty rough, knowing that the quality you're going to get probably isn't top tier. Unfortunately, these high base prices are all part of these chain strategies. They love to lure in the standard consumer with kind of a shock and awe, crazy offer, a crazy deal, and they'll capitalize on that deal with these high standard prices. For example, Applebee's has the Dollarita, which will get people in the door, get them immediately hammered, and then get them to order $16 wings. But my favorite thing has to be when these shock deals completely backfire. Just listen to the CNN headline of a real article. Red Lobster's misguided endless shrimp promotion drove it into bankruptcy. That is just the perfect sentence. Basically, their largest investor made the typically once a year promotion a daily menu item, which ultimately cost Red Lobster about $11 million, which is just insane. I've been going pretty hard on these chains, but they do hold some type of nostalgic place in my heart. They're a fun dining experience made for families. They're a safe option and maybe the best option in some places around the country, and it can bring local jobs to the community. But you have to admit that something does feel off about the level of mismanagement here, especially how it's impacting the lives of the thousands of employees that they have and also the local communities that they reside in. Learning about all this has me thinking that, it's been a minute since I've actually eaten in any of these restaurants.
I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it.
It really can't be that bad.
Cream.
We're going to score Chili's, TGI Fridays, Applebee's, and Red Lobster on food, quality and taste, atmosphere, service, and value for money for a total score out of 40. There will also be a bonus category for the best Diet Coke.
Hi, welcome to Chili's.
There's nothing better than Chili's on a Wednesday night. We immediately made ourselves at home before being captivated by Golf Blast and then tempted by the Don Julio. I'm a big fan of these glasses, and the Diet Coke absolutely hit, as you can tell.
Oh yeah!
We decided to order the Santa Fe grilled chicken salad for $16 and the Chili's classic triple dipper for $17. The food definitely passes the eye test, but how about the famous cheese pull? Despite the lackluster pull, I absolutely housed the salad and was pleasantly surprised with the taste. So apparently you pay on the Golf Blast machine. The total before splitting the check was $42.12, and with that, our time at Chili's has come to a close. Alright, so it's time to score Chili's. Let's do food. It's based on quality and taste. It's definitely higher than I anticipated. Let's go with a 7. Atmosphere, it was absolutely bumping. It was packed. I don't know if you could tell in the clips, but especially on a Wednesday night, it was absolutely packed, and it was loud and fun. It was great. Things were a bit outdated interior wise, but not too bad. Let's go with a 7 as well there. And the service felt a bit non-existent with the Golf Blast on the table kiosk. It's basically how you paid and how you did things like that. So it wasn't bad, but nothing stands out. Let's do a 5 there. And then value for money. $42.12 feels pretty steep for that amount of food, but the quality definitely kind of makes up for it. I think we're going to give 7 there as well. So that brings Chili's total to 26 out of 40. And the Diet Coke was absolutely banging. That was a 9 out of 10. That mug is undefeated.
Shooting the shot. Thank God it's Friday.
We were almost at my childhood TGI Fridays when we realized it was completely torn down and remade into a Chick-fil-A. I'm obviously not surprised based on everything I've just yapped about, but I was a bit disappointed to have to disqualify our guy, Alan Stillman. Congrats to the other chains as they've officially made it on the podium.
We're gonna just down and over. No, other way. Down, down, a tiny bit over, like barely. Yep. wait, not quite. Oh.
We decided to pivot to an Applebee's attached to a hotel. Boy, am I hungry. You can tell I mean business. The bar is bumping, and I kid you not, like out of a commercial, we sit down and hear someone tell the bartender. After contemplating the Dollarita, we decided on the Diet Pepsi, and quickly realized we were sitting under the brightest and only light in the surrounding area. It was our spotlight, our shining moment for what was about to go down. To get a good sample of the menu, we went with the classic combo for $17.
What do you rate it?
6. Score?
It was time. Things started off okay. We can't get a good cheese pull, but the mozzarella stick and boneless wings weren't terrible. But in the back of my mind, I knew what was coming. I'm not going to beat around the bush. This spinach artichoke dip absolutely ruined my night. The total was $26.42, and we said goodbye to our neighborhood bar and grill.
Yeah.
Got it?
Uh-huh.
It's finger licking good. It's finger licking good.
Okay, it's time to score the B's, Applebee's. Let's start with food, quality, and taste. The boneless wings were a bright spot, but this was pretty tough all the way around, especially with the night-ruining dip. I can't give this anything higher than a 4, unfortunately. Let's go to atmosphere. The atmosphere is pretty lively for a weird time of day on a Saturday, but the decor was very dated and nothing felt very clean, so that will be a 5. The service, I didn't capture this, but our server was amazing. He was really kind and attentive, and he seemed like he had a lot of tables and a lot on his plate, but he still went out of his way to get us 32-ounce to-go cups for free for our drinks, so that will be a 9 out of 10, with the 1 point coming off for slow food service. And then for value of money, I think $26 is pretty sad for this plate of apps. That will be a 5, and that brings Applebee's total score to a 23 out of 40. And then the Diet Coke score is a 6, as mentioned in the video.
Ahoy! It's 3 p.m. on Saturday. No other place I'd rather be. The Lobster.
This is actually my first time at a Red Lobster. When I was a kid, my mom got food poisoning and we never returned. The interior of the restaurant was actually pretty cool and was centered around a really nice bar. Another Diet Pepsi, unfortunately. But all is forgiven with these free cheddar biscuits. Maybe we're not the best critics here. Seafood is never our first choice for an entree. We went with the Cajun chicken linguine Alfredo and the mozzarella sticks for consistency across the chains. Despite some questionable marinara, the food looked pretty good. The chicken and mozzarella sticks were solid, but the pasta was loaded with way too much garlic and salt. It was basically impossible to eat. The total was $48.13, making it the most expensive yet, and just like that, we were done with our great taste test. Okay, let's score Red Lobster. The food, taste, and quality. I can tell this is more upscale than the other restaurants, but we didn't order the right thing. We didn't order any seafood, obviously. So I'm going to go a 6 here. The atmosphere, the interior was a bit dated, but nicer than I expected, so let's go a 7. The bar was really cool there. The service started off strong, but we were struggling to track him down at times, so a strong 7 here. And the value for money with these two items is a very low 4. The total was $48.13 for the two items you saw in the video. It's definitely sitting pretty low on the list for value for money. That brings Red Lobster's total to a 24 out of 40. and their diet soda score was a 5 out of 10.
Well, that does it. Let's hand out the final awards. In third place, we have Applebee's with 23 out of 40. In second place, we have Red Lobster with 24 out of 40. And in first, we have Chili's with 26 out of 40. It was close, but Chili's took it home. And Chili's also won the Diet Coke Award with a 9 out of 10 bonus little trophy there. To wrap things up, do these chains have a questionable past and history of decision making? Definitely. Are they a fun option in a pinch? Maybe. Are there better local options in your area? Hopefully. If you eat at these chains, please just prepare yourself, prepare your wallet, prepare some Tums, and of course, remember to always be nice to the employees that are working there, because you know what the higher ups at these companies think of their employees, unfortunately. Well, this is my first video. If you enjoyed it, please consider dropping a like and subscribe, or I will buy you a Red Lobster gift card. Okay, thank you. Bye. See you at Applebee's for some Dollaritas. Okay.